Hello there, it's Jo from Minerva, and today we're going to have a look at how to level a hem. Quite often we make an item and we might think that we've got the hem really accurate because we've measured with a tape measure from the waist down to the hem, and it's absolutely the same all the way around. But actually we need to measure our hem lines from the floor to the bottom of our skirt or dress. I'm going to show you how to use a skirt hemmer, which is a chalk device to measure around your hem, measuring from the floor up. A skirt hemmer is really useful if you've made a circle skirt or a skirt cut on the bias where you've cut across the grain of the fabric, so you've allowed the fabric to have some sort of movement. If you hang your skirt for 24 hours or maybe even more, then you might see that the fabric droops or drops in the certain places, especially where you've cut across the grain. So you leave your skirt to hang and then you can level your hem before you actually do any of the sewing. If you've made a skirt with godets in, they also droop sometimes because the triangles that make the godet shapes are cut at a different angle to your main skirt. So again, you might see that your main skirt stays quite stable, but then your godets drop down a little bit below the hemlines. Let's have a look how it works. I've been making the Tessuti Evie bias skirt and I've let it relax for 24 hours and now it's time to level my hem. So this skirt has been hanging for 24 hours and I've got an adjustment of 1.5 centimetres. So this back piece has dropped 1.5 centimetres more than the front. And you might think, oh, well, that's not very much, but it depends, because if you've got if this is the front, the shorter one, and if you've got a larger tummy, then that will go up even more. If you've got a larger bottom, then that will go up even more. So you need to level a hem on your body shape, not just from the waist to the hemline. When leveling a hem, you want to be measuring from the floor to the bottom of the hem rather than from the waistline down to the end of the hem, because if you just measure from the waistline to the bottom, you're not taking into account any sort of body shapes, lumps, bumps, areas that will affect the hemline. So this is my dressmaker's dummy, getting a slightly different view to normal, but I'm just trying to show you the hem of a skirt. And so this is the front is facing me, and if I had a larger tummy here, then this hemline would go up a little bit. If I had a flat bottom, then this would go down a little bit. If I had wider hips, then I might be pulling up either side of the hem. So it's important when you hem a skirt that if you can put it on your own body and have somebody measure it from the floor to the hem. If you're doing bridal work or special occasion dresses, then you might even want to make sure that you've got the shoes on that you're going to wear, because you're looking for that distance between the floor and your hem to be level, and that you've got the side seam perpendicular to the floor, so it's not swinging back or swinging forwards, and you're looking for that parallel line along the bottom of your skirt. So you can make sure, if you can try it on, you can get somebody to measure your hem to the right length, put a pin, move along, put a pin, move along, put a pin, and you might find that it won't, if you hung it on a coat hanger, it wouldn't hang straight. If you've got one hip that's hitched higher or lower than another, you'll be hemming your skirt for your body shape rather than just measuring and getting a number. You can also try a skirt hemmer, which is a weighted stand with a measuring stick on the top. So this has got the measurements here, and then there is a little chalk puffer. See it coming out there? And you can use that to mark your skirt. So that goes over the top, and you can definitely get your measurement from the floor to your hem. Let me show you how it works. So ideally you would be wearing it, but I would struggle to do that. So you find the level that you want. So I know that this skirt, I'm just going to hem it as it is. I don't want to take anything off the length. I just want to level it. I'm going to narrow hem it on my machine, so I don't need lots of hem allowance. And you line up this line with the edge of your skirt and do a little ch. And you keep moving around your skirt creating a level hemline. If you don't have someone to help you do it, you do have the possibility with the skirt hemmer of wearing the skirt yourself, putting it where you want it, and because it's got a long cable on it, you can operate it from above, but it is better if you can have a little sewing helper. Once I've put the chalk mark on, that is where I'll understand that at the front here, because it's a bias cut skirt, I've got quite a large piece to take off there, but here I'm grading out to not very much at all. So the sides are quite stable, but at the centre front and the centre back I've had quite a bit of drop after I've left this skirt to hang for 24 hours before I level it. So now it's level. I can make sure if that's my cutting line, I cut it. If it's your finish line, then you'll need to add your seam allowance on. So don't make the mistake of just marking it where you want it and then cutting it off, because then you will have your hem allowance. It's really small on a bias skirt, it's just a narrow hem, but still, if you're going to make something that fits you, you want it to be the right length. It's not an essential piece of kit. You can obviously use a tape measure, but it's tricky to measure from the floor to your hem, maybe if you're trying to do that on your own. Do head over to Minerva and check out our fabrics and patterns, also more tutorials on learn to sew, sew alongs and fabric inspiration. We would love to see any of your projects, so do make a free account with us and share your makes and projects. Thank you very much for watching. Call again soon.